Welcome to Fright Club.
I remember when I saw this as a little kid, I got it and thought, that's the most horrifying idea I've ever seen on film.
Yeah, it's got so many good scenes. My favorite scene, I'll say, is when they were at the karaoke. I've been to karaoke and nobody's ever been that pumped when I'm singing.
First rule of Fright Club, you post, share, comment, and tweet about Fright Club.
Actually, the first rule of Fright Club is you show up to Fright Club, and you have done that, so thank you very much.
Yay!
Especially tonight, because it's our first Friday night live at Gateway Film Center. Welcome. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we are from madwolf.com, and we've been doing, by our count, we've been here at Gateway Film Center in Columbus, Ohio, doing Fright Club for...
I think it's been 6 years.
6 years. Welcome. Come on in. 6 years, and thank you to everybody at Gateway, including Grace, who's here tonight. Grace, thanks so much. So we've been on,
Yay,
so
Grace.
we've been here on Wednesday nights for 6 years, and then we decided to make the move to Friday night.
That's right.
Feel good about it.
We do.
It's great because we don't have to get up tomorrow, which is awesome.
So George is letting me drink. Actually, he doesn't let me drink because I do things like, I slur, and also I trip over our cords and crash our table.
Some things we can fix in post, some things we cannot. Hi, welcome in. Oh, she's got a cat T-shirt on. That's great. Somebody read what we're doing tonight, and I love that when you come prepared. So, it's a lot of fun. Welcome to some first-timers here tonight. And if you are, and I didn't give you already a Fright Club button, we'll get you one after for sure. Courtesy of Jimmy Buttons, by the way, whose office is right over here on off of High Street, I think.
Cash only.
Yeah, cash only.
That's true.
Yeah, so so much going on. You might have heard us talk about before. We have filmed our first movie called Obstacle Corpse, which is being edited right now. If you're interested, we have swag. You might have seen some here on the table. There's a couple of people wearing Obstacle Corpse T-shirts.
That's
Bless
right.
you,
the coolest
by
people
the way.
in the room are.
And also, we didn't plan it this way, but it just so happens that Hope's first novel is out now called Roost, and she is a published author. It's great. Also, some guy that you might know just did the audiobook for
That's
that,
true.
and it'll be out very soon.
It'll be out soon.
But in case you're interested, we've got some autographed copies of Roost. So a lot going on, but tonight we're doing our Friday nights for Fright Club, and we're talking about Frightful Felines. But before we get to that, we got to thank our special guest from last time, because if you didn't know, we do one of these per month here at Gateway, doing it live, and then we do one in the studio. We record a studio version of Fright Club. And the last time we had director George Popov, join us.
Yeah, he directed Hex and The Droving, and he has been on with us before, and he came back on because he is directing and narrating a series of feature-length documentaries called Side World. And the first one is out. You can get it anywhere that you rent movies. And it's called The Haunted Forests of England. So he came on and we went through our favorite haunted forests. So not a Cabin in the Woods countdown, not like slashers, but specifically sort of really supernatural kind of foresty movies. And he's such a great guest.
He is.
He watches the movies, rewatches the movies. He's a filmmaker, so he's got a filmmaker's eye for movies, which is so much fun, to talk to. So he's great. And they've got another one coming out soon about sea monsters, which I'm very excited to see.
Fantastic. But it was fun to talk about the forest because that's maybe one of the things that scares Hope the most is the woods.
Yes.
So we're talking about that. So thank you to George for coming on, and we got a lot of great response to that too.
We did, and there was one, and I knew somebody would, and it was Seth, which I should have assumed. But there was some confusion over why no Evil Dead showed up on our countdown, because clearly that woods is very haunted. It's not a woods to go visit. We should have at least discussed it. It should have come up. We should have talked about it. And then also on the same countdown, it's funny, Donna from Cleveland left us a comment. She enjoyed the episode, but also she heard that we were going to talk about cats this time. Mm-hmm. And so she recommended a movie that she watched as a kid that terrified her called The Eye of the Cat. I'd never heard of it. I'd never even heard of it.
That's tough.
Yeah, that does not happen very often.
Not very often.
So immediately I sought it out, and it is weird as fuck. So while it did not make the final list, I highly recommend it. So you can get it for free on YouTube. It's like 1969 in all of its glory. Definitely watch it. Super weird.
So I think we immediately know that Donna from Cleveland is our kind of people.
She's our people.
So
yes,
thank
she
you.
is.
Thank you so much. So we're looking ahead to tonight, and we're going to talk about the Frightful Felines. And honestly, we have got a movie to show tonight. I know a lot of people love it. As we were talking earlier in Happy Hour, it's very underseen.
Very.
We have been trying to get it on Fright Club for years.
For years, yeah.
Years, because it is underseen. You're right. And the people that have seen it love it. And I think the people that haven't seen it, well, how many people here have seen it already? The voices. Three.
Oh, my God.
So,
I love when this happens.
Love
You're
it.
going to love this movie.
Love it.
You're going to love this movie.
And
it's
by the way,
so great.
We should mention that it was written by a native of Columbus, Ohio.
That's right, Michael Perry.
Where we are, Michael Perry, and actually his sister got a hold of us right away when we got the news about that. Just how happy
we got this
she
booking,
was. Yeah. Is she here tonight? I think she was going to try to make it. Maybe she'll make it later. Hope so. But anyway, yeah, that's great that he wrote it, and he's gone on to write for TV, and
he's got several Emmys.
Yeah,
he does. I mean, he's a big, giant, major TV and movie writer.
But this
producer.
was one that was before Ryan Reynolds became as big a star as he is now.
It's like mid Ryan. I mean, it's 2014.
Yeah, but he was still hadn't found the big groove yet, and for some reason it just slipped under the cracks. So,
and it's also Marjane Satrapi who had
right.
she directed Persepolis based on her own graphic novel. It's not a horror film. It's just a flawless movie.
Great.
Though. It's animated.
So great.
You should see it right away. It's an absolutely brilliant movie. And then this was her next film, and it's so great. It's completely different from Persepolis, but it's such a good movie. And I can't get over the fact that really no one saw it.
I know, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to try to remedy that tonight and show it. And of course, when we get to it on the countdown here, we're not going to talk much about it because nobody's seen it. But we certainly hope you come down after and give us your comments, and we'll get you on the podcast.
That's
so
right.
With that, you want to get to it because when we do it here live, we're on the clock.
That's right.
We got to get to it.
So there's a lot of horror movies. I mean, horror has a long history with cats, right? It's a lot. And so one of the things that we're not going to just talk about great cats in horror movies. Like the movies that we're going to talk about, there's a big cat theme throughout. So but we want to call out Church, for example, right? From either Pet Sematary, take your pick. Great, he's a great character, and
a great name for a cat.
It is a great.
I'm going to name him Church.
Yeah, from Winston Churchill. It was shortened, and then also there is a great cat scene in one of our all-time favorites. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yeah.
There's a great cat. There's a great cat in that movie. There's another great cat scene in another one of our all-time favorites, Let the Right One In.
Oh, my God.
They do not like her.
Oh, what a great movie.
There are so many great movies that just have, like, a little bit of cat here and there. There's another one that there are no cats in it, and yet it's called Are We Not Cats? Are We Not? Are We Not Cats? It's just borderline horror, but when it gets to it, you're like, ooh. So it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing.
Yeah, so those are a few to mention, but we are going to get to, we've got 5, right?
We do.
5 Frightful Felines.
We do have 5 Frightful Felines.
Do we start with one that we know and love? That's our cat.
That's our cat.
So we had to get a picture there of Velma. That's Velma Dew, our cat at home, and what she's doing right there is she's waiting for you to come over to the bowl and pet her while she eats.
She makes us do that. We have to stand over her while she eats. I work from home, so he really has no idea what a pain in the ass this is. Just every so often, I'll be typing away, I'll look over, she's just staring at me. I'm like, oh my God.
It's so weird.
I have to walk over and just stand there and pet her.
I've had several cats in my life, and I've never had a cat that did this. The nice thing is she does not, most cats I've had, they wake you up early in the morning to eat. They bat you in the face or something like that. She does not do that. She will let us sleep late, so God bless her. But boy, once we all get up, it's just, you got to come over to my bowl and pet me or I'm not going to eat. It's the weirdest thing. So we just had to get her in there.
Yes,
she's
we
not
did.
frightful.
No,
so that's
she's
Velma.
not.
All right, so let's go to, we got a top 5, so let's get at it. At number 5, Frightful Felines. This is from 2015. An aspiring Romanian filmmaker, obsessed with Hollywood actress Anne Hathaway, goes to shocking extremes to convince Anne to star in his upcoming film. This is Be My Cat, a film for Anne.
Hello, Anne. My name is Adrian. I'm from Romania, and I want to make a movie with you. This is a film I'm making right now to convince you to come here and make that movie with me. I even convinced 3 Romanian actresses to play in this film to show you how I'm gonna work with you. I will change the world with you, Anne. Don't make me cut you.
You're a psychopath.
You have 20 seconds to give me one last word and then I will close the camera.
This is a wild movie. We first saw this at Nightmares Film Festival here at Gateway, and it was one where we're judges for the Nightmares Film Festival, and we had almost submitted that year our final picks, and then we saw this.
We actually had, and this came in really late, and I sent an email, and I'm like, hold the phone. Like, we have to show this movie. It's so weird, and also, just FYI, no way Anne Hathaway is going to work with this guy. Zero chance. He has no chance. It's the weirdest movie, and it's so compelling. You can't get past it.
Yeah.
You cannot look away from this movie.
Adrian Tofai is his name, and I don't know, some of you may have had communications with him on Facebook, as I have had. He's an interesting guy, to put it mildly. And this is a wild film. Almost all of it was done in first takes, and they were very in the moment. He lived the character, very method. And it's just really, you have to see it to believe it. It's something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, and it is scary, and the performances are great. And in the end, it's really very smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's unlike anything else I've ever seen, which is hard to do. It's a very interesting film.
Yeah, it really is, and that is number 5 on our list of Frightful Felines. Is that out? Do you know where can you see it?
Oh, yeah, it streams everywhere.
Okay, streams everywhere. So if you haven't seen it, it's quite an experience. That is number 5. Be My Cat. Moving up to number 4 because we got to get going. This is from 1985. A Stray Cat is the linking element of 3 tales of suspense and horror. It's Cat's Eye.
Experience a series of electrifying adventures as seen through Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Where's your sense of humor?
Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
There's always a lot of love for Creepshow, deservedly so. It's a great anthology, and it's all Stephen King material. But I love this one, and I think that people just have slept on it. I mean, it just doesn't get the same kind of love as anthologies go, and I think it's really, really fun, and it's really, really Stephen King. I do want to point out that he also wrote for the screen a very cat-oriented film called Sleepwalkers, which blows.
Sucks!
It's so bad. So The General is the name of the cat that has kind of got little pieces in 2 of these shorts, and then is a main character in the short that mainly focuses on Drew Barrymore when she was super cute and little. But of the 3, my favorite one is the one with James Woods, who's trying to quit smoking. I remember when I saw this as a little kid, and there's this last moment where this woman is missing her finger. And as a little kid, I got it and thought, that's the most horrifying idea I've ever seen on film. So it has always stuck with me, this movie has. And I think that it is really a fun, and I'm not a huge often fan of anthology films, but I think this one is really, really fun.
And actually, it's director Louis Teague, and in the DVD commentary, he said that against his wishes, the studio cut out a prologue that was more direct about the cat's motivations. They thought it was too silly, but he thought it drew all the elements together.
Here's why it's silly. Nobody knows Cat's motivations. Because this is just evil.
The cat's motivation is 1, fuck, and 2, you.
Yeah.
That's their motivations. But actually, and then there's the he also said in the DVD commentary that the segment about quitters that you were talking about, where the cat is being shocked while dancing around, the cat handler was blowing compressed air on it.
Oh.
That's why it was moving around like that.
Well, that's good.
So it's not actually being shocked. But yeah, this is a good one. I heard a couple of people saying, well, this will probably be there.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to shame us. Well, you don't have to shame us.
Michael was going to shame us.
You don't have to shame us. It's number 4, Cat's Eye on our list.
Yeah, there are a couple that makes me think
felines.
of that scene right there. One of the ones, there's a movie that we love called Inside. And you know, when you watch a movie, a horror movie with dogs, one of 2 things: it's either going to be super scary and it's going to bite you, or you know that it's there to just break your heart when you hear off screen that whimper and you know that it's being killed. Those are the 2 reasons for a dog to be. And cats, they're rarely victims. And like when a cat shows up in a movie, it's not going to be super scary and but it's like there's something sinister about the cat. But every once in a while, for example, in Inside, which we both love, then that's what the scene where they blow air at the feet of the cat. That's what it makes me think of. But then also Bad Boy Bubby, which is a great movie. It's a great movie, and it's super weird. And I didn't know until I'd seen it many times that they kill a cat.
Yeah.
The cat dies.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
horrifying.
rough.
I know. Otherwise, we'd have shown it. And then I found that out and thought, oh, my God.
Yeah. And that you can't bring up the movie Inside for people that don't know without telling the story that we showed Inside here for Fright Club years ago, and we were cussed out by a nurse who said it was too bloody.
Yeah.
So, mission accomplished there, I guess. So that's Cat's Eye. That's number 4. Moving up to number 3. This is our classic on the list from 1934. American honeymooners in Hungary become trapped in the home of a Satan-worshiping priest when the bride is taken there for medical help following a road accident. Yes, the Black Cat.
Did you ever hear of Satanism, the worship of the devil, of evil? Approach with the great modern priest of that ancient cult. And tonight, dark of the moon, the rites of Lucifer are celebrated. And if I am not mistaken, he intends you to play a part in that ritual. A very important part. Where is my wife, Karen, and my daughter?
Karen? Well, what do you mean?
I love that it says there, suggested by the Edgar Allan Poe. It should say, has absolutely nothing to do
Not one
with
word. Not one word in common.
Not one
word.
But 1934, two of the biggest stars of the day, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. This was the first of their collaborations.
And it's awesome. And so we talked about this, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. And I said that we were going to try really hard to get it. We are going to get it. We're going to show this in November. So if you haven't seen it, come back and watch it with us in November.
Yay.
It is so weird. It's such a weird movie in the most glorious way. It's this gorgeous black and white, really sort of, the way they did in 1934. All these really very graphic images and weird shadows. It's so gorgeous. And Boris Karloff is just as weird as he could possibly be, and he really leans into that lisp in the most glorious of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie, and Rocky Horror borrowed so much from this movie. There's necromancy, and there's black mass, my favorite thing to see in a movie. And there's just so much weirdness. There is a cat, is pretty tangential, to be honest with you. It shows up often enough, but the movie is all about how awesome Boris Karloff is when he's playing a big old weirdo.
So awesome. This is actually the first horror movie to mention Satanism as a cult.
God bless it.
Yeah, the first one to do that. And actually, speaking about cats, in Britain, the title was changed from the Black Cat to the House of Doom because over there, the black cats are considered a sign of good luck.
Oh, I see.
So it's not very sinister. But, so cool. And in November,
Happy-go-lucky cat.
Those cats. Mark it down. November. That's going to be our classic
That's
for
right.
Fight Club. That'll be awesome to see on the big screen. Karloff, so cool.
Yes.
And with Bela Lugosi, I forget how many collaborations they did. A few.
Yeah.
But this was the first one, and a classic for sure. That is the Black Cat, and that is number 3 on our list of Frightful Felines. Moving up to number 2. This is another classic as well, because you see the title, you think, which one? No, we're going with the classic here. From 1942, an American man marries a Serbian immigrant who fears that she will turn into the cat person of her homeland's fables if they are intimate together. Cat People from 42.
You little devil.
Oh, it's all right. It's just that cats don't seem to like me.
See these eyes so green.
Snuck one in on me.
I did.
I didn't know we were going to have the Bowie song. That's awesome.
I know.
Pair that with the original.
I stole some retrospectives trailer because they have the Bowie song in it, which of course obviously was not in the original. It's in the Paul Schrader remake, which is subpar. But both
that
of them
song
have that.
is so cool.
Oh my God, it's the greatest song. I love that song, and I love that pool scene in both of them. The pool scene is pretty great, and this is a dumb movie, but I mean it just is. It's a dumb movie, and the remake is a dumb movie. But I like a lot of parts of the original. I have a preoccupation with movies that are so fixated on female sexuality. Like there's this hysteria around it. And I don't think any of them are more adorable about it than this one. It's like just this idea. Oh my God, if I have sex, it's like Twilight, right? The whole book series, you know? If I have sex, I'm going to turn into some sort of a maniacal man-eating monster. Oh my God. I find it so cute in this movie. I can't get over it. But also, I think the performances are really funny. I love the doctor in this movie because he just shows up like, I'm super helpful. Wait, you're hot and horny. Oh my God. And your husband is clearly into that other woman who's also clearly a lesbian. He's not getting any no matter what he does, but you, I think I can help. I mean, I love everything about that. Like, it's not trying to be campy. It's trying to be scary, and it's beautiful to look at. It's a really well-filmed film, but it's just the cutest thing.
And it's director Jacques Tourneur. I don't know how to pronounce that. But this movie was such a box office hit. It was huge that he went on to direct two more right away after that. I Walked with a Zombie and The Leopard Man to try to follow up on this success. And also, if you remember, as I do as a kid, the old Adam West Batman series, the actor who played Alfred, Alan Napier, has a cameo in this as Doc Carver. Little trivia there for you.
There you go.
For cat people. Yeah. It is weird. I still love the idea of pairing it with the new song.
Yeah, me too.
That's fantastic.
I mean, anytime you can hear Bowie up there.
That's great.
That's why we have the hunger in so many of these, just so I can hear him sing. That's why.
Number 2 on our list of Frightful Felines, that is the original Cat People from 1942. Moving up to number 1, you probably guessed, it's the one we're going to see tonight from 2014. A likable guy pursues his office crush with help from his evil talking pets, but things turn sinister when she stands him up for a date. It is The Voices.
Do you ever hear voices?
Not really.
Jerry.
Hey, Fiona.
In her eyes, you're a ridiculous peasant. Kill her, and you will discover what it feels like to be truly alive.
Don't run!
Mr. Whiskers, he makes me do bad things.
You totally stopped taking the pills, didn't you?
Totally. Pretty complicated inside the human mind, huh? You remember last week when you said there was an invisible line that separates good from evil and you thought you'd crossed it, and I said, no, you're a good boy?
Yeah, I remember. So what?
I've changed my opinion.
All right, well, as we said, we're not going to talk much about this until after because so many people haven't seen it. Just a couple things to know. The screenplay, this movie came out in 2014. The screenplay for the film, again, written by the Columbus native, Michael Perry, the screenplay was featured in the 2009 Blacklist, which is a list of the most liked unmade scripts of the year. So then it took 5 years after that for it to come to the screen. And on top of that, Ryan Reynolds himself did the voices for the animals.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
And as you said, I mean, he was already a pretty big name star, but I had nothing for Ryan Reynolds until I saw the movie. I thought, Waiting's fun. He's funny in Waiting.
Oh, Waiting's great.
I saw this movie and thought, no, this guy, he's in my heart now. I love this guy forever. It's just the tone is so perfect in this movie.
It's great.
It's hilarious and heartbreaking and brilliant. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
We'll see here in just a couple of minutes. Again, after, be sure to come down. We want to get your comments about it, especially those who haven't seen it.
1 hour and 43 minutes later. Caution, possible spoilers ahead.
Yeah, that was fun, huh? It's interesting how fun it is, but how dark it is as well.
Yeah, I find it heartbreaking. Like, this movie just breaks my heart the entire time. We did talk about this on, we did a podcast, it was probably about a year ago on mental health, and obviously this one was on the podcast. I mean, it's incredibly well written, and the direction, there's so much pink. The direction is just beautiful because you love this guy and you feel for him, and it's sad. It's really a sad film.
It's sad, but it's funny. And
very funny.
What a spot-on depiction of the difference between dogs and cats. I found myself, after a while, thinking, I was trying to put a voice to our cat. Like, if our cat had a voice, what voice would it be? Because
they are evil. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds' voices for those two animals are fantastic.
Yeah, really.
And, and of course, I love seeing Jackie Weaver.
Two quick things. First, the old saying, people have dogs, cats have people.
Sure.
But Jerry was Norman Bates with a better personality and more likability.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
Oh, for sure.
What do you think?
I think I found my new favorite Ryan Reynolds movie.
Nice.
You definitely see his range, all throughout the movie. Like, you see the comedy that he uses throughout, like Deadpool and other comedies he's been in. You get to see like his dramatic side, and also you get to hear like his different voices with the animals.
I totally agree. Yeah, as I said earlier, I mean, this was the movie that I didn't like him. I didn't think of him. I didn't think much of him as an actor until this movie.
And he wasn't really doing the complete Ryan Reynolds shtick,
right?
You know, the Deadpool thing, and that's great. But
because he's incredibly sympathetic. He's incredibly sympathetic in this movie.
Yeah, and the difference in the colors you mentioned early on, the colors when the difference between when he's on the meds, obviously, and when he's off the meds, and part of that is with the color. But the way it balances the humor and the darkness, the mental health aspect of it, is really interesting.
Yeah, this movie's great. I had seen as the first movie I've seen out of all the Fright Clubs I've been to. And it brings back to also good memories because it's a movie I saw with my dad when it came out. I think it was straight to Redbox. I saw Puerto Rico with my dad. And yeah, it's got so many good scenes. My favorite scene, I'll say, is when they were at the karaoke, the girls, and he's at the Shin Shan. And I'll say I've been to karaoke and nobody's ever been that pumped when I'm singing. and yeah, also the cat. It's so amazing. I didn't know he made all the voices. I got the best Scottish accent around town, so I don't know what he's bragging about. So yeah.
Very nice. We were saying in that scene where they go back and forth between Shishin and the karaoke, it was like, when was the last time you ever saw karaoke with two people that attractive who were up there singing? Like, they'd have had a much larger audience, I think.
I don't think I've had a more disturbing and affecting mid-movie gut punch since Hereditary, and it makes me feel exactly the same kind of uncomfortable the entire time. Like, it's bad enough when he goes off his meds the first time, but then that flashback is really just twisting the shard of glass. Yeah.
I love that. Comparing this to Hereditary, I did not see that coming.
Well,
but
you know
I
what,
like
though? I mean, because I think you're right. The first time, when he goes off the meds, it's the first time you see his life the way it would be if he saw it rationally is really tragic.
Yeah.
But you're right. Then when the first time when he takes Anna Kendrick home, and you see. It's beautiful, and that's the thing I like the most about this movie is that it's very colorful, it's very funny, and it is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, because like it's heartbreaking after that first moment when you see how he really lives, and like you can't like I couldn't get the tone back at that point, and it became just so much darker. But I can't get over that, and it still feels, and even the end here, how weirdly unsatisfying it feels.
Because it's sad.
Yeah, it also reminds me of like the house that Jack built. So I guess it's the house that Ryan built.
Wow.
That's great.
That's a dark place to go. House that Jack built.
It really is.
I mean, he does kill 3 people and then escape into a fantasy world.
Yeah,
so.
He totally does. You're exactly right. Yeah. When the third one, I mean, Andrew Kendrick, that really hurts my feelings. I just, I mean. First of all, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's really good in this movie, and she really sells. I mean, she's so fond of him, and you think, maybe he could, and then you're like, no, he really can't. Like, there's no way he escapes this movie with Anna Kendrick because of what he's already done. And then when the third person just shows up because she's a nice lady looking for her friends, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And Bosco's right. He's changed his opinion. He's not a good boy.
You're not a good boy. It's it's interesting. We review so many movies every week, and we were talking about movies this week with the clashing of tones. And this one, you would think it would be so hard because the tones do so clash so much, but it works somehow.
It does. It really does. And I think it's because it stays so fully inside Jerry's head.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just see what Jerry sees. We see the grimness when he sees it, and then when you understand why he doesn't go back on the meds, because what he sees is so much brighter and cheerier.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it works as well as it does, because as a viewer, you recognize that that's not right. What he's seeing, But because you're seeing it through his eyes, he's so sympathetic. And, I mean, that makes the whole thing funny and sad simultaneously. And then her use of color is just glorious.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And just another one where you, for just whatever reason, you wonder why it just didn't find an audience. But we're sure glad that
y'all came out.
That it found an audience tonight.
I can't think of another film where you don't see, like, if it wasn't for that segment where he goes back on his meds, you don't see many films where you're usually seeing the normal reality. You're not seeing the protagonist's reality. And like that segment, like almost the entire film, you don't really, if it wasn't for that segment, you wouldn't really know what is really going on in his life. And I thought that was I thought that was fantastic. Where it only took that brief segment, but for the rest of the film, like someone else said, you're just like you're looking at it in a completely different light after that segment now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the first for me, the first moment is just seeing the pet shit, you know, and then they pan forward and you see because you start with those stacks of Tupperware. They're tidy. He's being so tidy as he's chopping this human up into, and then you see first you start with the cat shit, and then you saw dog shit, and then you see what that really looks like, and then you see just over on the side you see the towels that are all bloody. It's really, I mean, it's just a very, I think it's an interesting comment on mental health. It really does. It absolutely changes the way everything prior to that, the pink in particular, like the pink uniforms, it just changes the way you see how he sees the world.
And we talked about before that this was a screenplay that was on the blacklist. So you start with a great screenplay, but especially with a screenplay like this, the direction comes so much into play with the kind of vision to bring this type of screenplay to the screen. And it's a really great tandem of writing and directing to make these tones work together.
Yeah,
so,
I think, and also the cast, just a glorious cast.
Yeah, very well done. So I'm glad everybody liked it. We can't thank you enough for coming out tonight for our first Friday night Fright Club, and great comments too. Thank you for that. But we'll look ahead to what's coming up on Fright Club. Well, we know we're Friday nights. Book it, mark it down. We're here the second Friday of the month here live at Gateway Film Center. Oh, you brought it up on the screen.
I did. We get to be a part, if you don't know it, so Gateway Film Center is going to do an A24 retrospective, 50 films beginning in August, and we get 2 of them.
Yeah, somebody just wrote a story about that for Columbus Underground.
That's right. Somebody did.
Like me.
That's right.
So read that. And thanks to Chris Hamill from the Gateway for talking to me about that. But yeah, so fantastic. The first retrospective of A24. They have so many great films.
Yes.
And that's one of them.
That's right. So we're going to show In Fabric, and then in the next month we are going to show Black Coat's Daughter. So there's going to be our next 2 Fright Club Lives. There's going to be 2 A24 films. Very excited about it. In this one, we're going to talk about Clothes That Will Kill You. That's going to be our podcast topic.
But please check out the full schedule for that A24 retrospective,
oh my God, yes.
because there's just quality after quality film. And it starts on August the 4th. And you're going to see the return of the gallery out here, which is so great. The gallery is going to be themed for the A24 retrospective.
I see us losing a lot of money. That's what I see.
I do too. For sure I do. So that's going to be great. Looking ahead to all that. And we keep talking about it on socials as well. We'll get this all edited and posted soon. You can find it, of course, on our main website, which is madwolf.com, and all of our socials. We've got Fright Club Pod on Twitter. Mm-hmm. We've got Mad Wolf Columbus on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you, we do have a dedicated Fright Club Podcast Facebook group.
Right.
That we have a lot of fun, having some fun and just sharing things about horror movies. So please look that up and send a request to join, and we'll approve that and keep it going in there. So
I want to mention one more movie.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's god-awful. Please watch it. Night of the 10,000 Cats. Find it, watch it. Watch it on the free YouTube version because the sound is slightly off, and so everyone talks really slow, and it makes it even better. It's so amazingly terrible, like in the best possible way. Please watch it.
Do that, and then if you have any spare time, come over and pet our cat while she eats. So we can live our lives.
Doing it.
For God's sake. All right, we got to watch this movie. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. Come down after. We'll talk. And until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club Podcast.